Hello and good evening. Welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News with Scott Allen. No, Scott Allen. Uh, he's having his piping cleaned out tonight, or tomorrow, so he couldn't be with us tonight. So I'm gonna wing this by myself a little bit here. So we'll start off. Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News is brought to you by Langley Speedway. I want to thank Bill Mullis and Vaughn Crittenden and Chuck Hall and everybody for letting us have the show there. Even though we're not there tonight, I didn't make the trip down, but we'll be back there next week, so we appreciate it. Performance Plus Motor Oil, the official oil of Courthouse Imports and Scott Allen. You know, got to say something good about him. That's the only thing I could find. And then Safety Clean. We want for all the protection and everything that you have during this time to get rid of waste and everything. Contact Safety Clean. Black Acid Apparel. Bill Petrov, Jessica Can, and everybody at Black Acid Apparel do a wonderful job of giving you apparel for the racing season. Whether you want one shirt or you want 50 shirts, they can help you out and get you going. Our buddies at 811, North Carolina 811, I should say. Their liaison with training, Brian Morehouse, and everybody. If you contact 811 before you dig, always do that because you never can tell what is underneath the situation you may be dealing with. MPM, McAllister Performance Marketing. Tanya McAllister and everybody down there do a great job with the young people that they work with and try to get them help along the way to teach them how to talk to the press and how to deal with everything and help them along in their program as far as their racing is concerned. Pepsi, the official drink of Langley Speedway and Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News. Factory Canopies. They have a little bit of everything at Factory Canopies. You can get car covers. You can get tarps. You can get everything from Factory Canopies. Get in touch with everybody there. Andrea Calkins is their #1 salesperson with Factory Canopies. And Bondurant Brothers Distillery in Chase City, Virginia. One of the earliest of all the moonshine makers in the state of Virginia, originally from Franklin County, Virginia, and they're now in Chase City. Make some great stuff. They make the cinnamon flavored moonshine, which is really good. And that's all our sponsors. I want to thank all those for being a part of that with us. Let's do a little news before we get going. In the ARCA East Series that raced at Dover this past week, Sam Mayer got the win. In the truck series, Zane Smith got his second straight win in the trucks at Dover. The Xfinity Series raced 2 races this weekend, one Saturday, one Sunday. Jason Allgaier won on Saturday, and Chase Briscoe won on Sunday, and that is his 6th win this year with Chase Briscoe. So he said he had to have 8 to win or to get a ride for next year. He's on his way. He's got 6. The Cup Series had 2 races this past weekend. Denny Hamlin won on Saturday, and Kevin Harvick won on Sunday. That was also Ford's 700th win in the Cup Series. And for Harvick, that was his 59th Cup win and also seals up the regular season championship. Some other places that had racing going on this weekend. Franklin County Speedway had the Cars Tour there. In the late models, Jared Fryer got the win in the late models. And in the super late models, Bubba Pollard. Down at Colorado, the ARCA West Series was running. Jesse Love Jr. got the pole and won the race, and I think led every lap of the race. At Hickory, late model race #1 was Josh Berry. Late model race #2 was Ryan Millington. At Madera Speedway, the pro late models, an MPM driver, Dylan Zampa, got the win in the pro late models. And in the junior late models, Cole Brown got the win. Anderson, South Carolina, limited late model win for Ashton Higgins. Ashton Higgins will be with us next week. He was signed by GMS. I'll be talking about that in a minute. He'll be with us next week. At Harris Speedway, Devin Morgan got the late model win at Harris Speedway. Up at Dominion Raceway this past weekend, I don't have all the winners at Dominion. I do know that in the Virginia Racer Series, race number 1, Zach Lightfoot got the win. Race number 2, Zach Lightfoot got the win. In the modified race number 1 was Chris Humlett. Modified race number 2 was Jimmy Humlett. And at Halifax County, their late model winner was Gary Dillon. And then at Langley Speedway this past weekend, some great racing at Langley Speedway this past weekend. 19 late models showed up at at Langley Speedway this past weekend. They had 2 late model races. Late model race number 1 was won by Peyton Sellers. The Pro 6 race was won by Jared Clark. The Bandos were Riley Music. The Legends, Ryan Matthews. UCAR, Brian Waters. Roger Sawyer got the Enduros. Paul Lubno got the Grand Stock. And in the second late model, Peyton Sellers won the second one. To let everybody know, Martinsville Speedway has canceled their big late model race at the end of this year. So that pretty much does it as far as the Triple Crown races and everything. Because I don't think South Boston is going to open at all. So that's a pretty good deal there. But anyway, Butterbean gets 1 win in the Triple Crown. Richmond, I made an announcement this week that they will be having their races there, but no fans will be allowed at Richmond. And as I was getting ready to say earlier, the GMS has signed a developmental deal with Katie Hettinger and Ashton Higgins. Now, they're going to both be with us next week, but this is a big deal for them because they will be under the GMS logo and GMS banner for next year. For our Driver of the Week, we had a lot of good votes for the Driver of the Week this weekend, but we sat down and talked about it. The three of us who was on the panel that talk about these things and everything, and we came up with the Driver of the Week this week will be Riley Music, his 8th win of the season, 6 straight from what I understand, and he's won them at 4 different tracks. And so we're going to give him the Driver of the Week this week, and it's much deserved. So that's Riley Music. Show tonight, we're going to have Mario Gosselin, who has an Xfinity team, DGM Motorsports. Been around racing for a long time. He's from Canada originally and has done some great things up there. So, and then he's got a pretty decent race team there with DGM. And even though he has got, he has some Josh Williams. Let's put it that way. Josh Williams driving for him. That's you got to take the good with the bad. But anyway, Josh Williams is one of his drivers, and he's had some ARCA wins. He was the 1997 Hooters Cup champion, so that's a big deal. We're also going to have Steve Zacharias, who is now the promoter at Florence Speedway. Was the promoter at Myrtle Beach Speedway. He's now at Florence. So we're going to have a talk. We're going to have him on the show to talk about what's going to be going on between. They've shut Myrtle Beach down, but he'll be going over there and what kind of new program and whatever he's going to be running over there as far as finishing out the season, and that'll be great to hear. And we're also going to have Kayla Searles. Kayla Searles drives a modified up at Dominion Speedway, and so we're going to have her on the show, and we're going to talk with her and see how driving a modified up there against the Humlets and Peyton Faree and everybody up there, how she's enjoying it and how she got started in racing. So that's our show for tonight, and soon we'll have somebody on here in a few minutes. Somebody says they want a shot of the moonshine. We're gonna do that. We've made plans that we were going to do that soon. We just did not want to, get involved with that right off the bat when we came back after the corona. And So we will be having everybody over to have a shot of Bondurant's Brothers Distillery moonshine. So that'll be a big deal. Oh, I forgot to mention, Scott Allen got another 5th place, a top 5 this week over at Langley Speedway. There was 4 cars in the race. He got a top 5, finished 3rd. But I got kind of feel for him. He had a long day. A lot of changes to be made on the car. I understand they changed just about everything. The only thing they haven't changed is the driver. That may be the next thing they have to do. But we'll wait and see if they do it that way or not. But anyway, so we'll have somebody in a minute. And anybody got any questions, anything they want to talk about, give me a holler. We'll talk about something right now until we get somebody on here. Some good racing all over, especially at Langley Speedway this past weekend. Peyton Sellers, Brendan Queen, some great racing. And Brendan finished 2nd in the 2nd race. He's having an awesome season, a really awesome season for him. So that'll be a big deal. I see John Pritt on here. How you doing, John? You need to come down and visit sometime soon so we can do them shots with you down when you can come down that way. So anyway. All right, looks like we've got Kayla Searles back there in the background getting ready to come on. Give you a little update. She is a modified driver from Dominion Speedway. So we're kind of excited about getting her on here and talking to her and finding out all about her racing and everything. And so let's get Kayla on here and talk with her. Hey, Kayla, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Jack?
We're doing great, man. And I tell you what, it's got to be exciting to be a modified driver up there at Dominion.
Oh, it is. It's a blast.
I've made a couple trips up to Dominion. I haven't been there at all. And it was really great to come up there and watch some good racing. And that place is awesome. I love Dominion Speedway. So you've got a great place to race. One of the first things I want to ask you is, how did you get started in racing?
Well, my dad asked if I wanted to tag along to a go-kart race, and I tagged along, and I watched the race, and I was hooked. I wanted to be in one. So then I started racing go-karts, and then one of my dad's friends was watching me. And as I was going up through the karts, he had already bought himself a modified, and he was trying to convince Dad to get me into a modified. So eventually he convinced him, and now I'm in a modified.
So, I mean, you basically just jumped right to the modifieds and went to racing, huh?
Yep, pretty much.
Now, the modified division at Dominion Speedway, they have a good group of modified drivers there. I mean, you think about it, Jimmy Humlet and Chris Humlet and Peyton Ferree, and I think, didn't Davey Callahan run this week in the modifieds too? Yeah, so
Davey ran this weekend, yes.
Well, he's not as good with the modified as he was with the go-karts out there at the go-kart track. But anyway, so how does a modified to you feel compared to anything you've ever done before?
Well, I've really only done a go-kart. Like, I've hopped in my friend's limited late model one time, but it was on some junk tires, and who knows the last time it was on a scale. But, I mean, it's fun. It's a blast. You feel every bit of the horsepower, and it's not as bumpy as a go-kart.
Yeah, but with the tires and everything, that's a pretty good. But also Dominion is not a bumpy track, I don't think, is it?
It's not that bumpy. It does have a few bad spots, but you don't really feel them. So.
Well, we're gonna have Steve Britt on our show next week, the promoter from up there at Dominion, and I can't wait to talk to him. He's a great guy and got a lot going on there at Dominion. Now, how many races have you run in the modifieds?
I ran a full season last year, and I think we're up to 5 races this year, 5 or 6 races.
Well, you've got some experience behind you. You're getting there. So, how do you like the modified division? I mean, is that something you would like to stay with, or what are you thinking?
Well, it's fun. And I do like who I race against. They're great guys, and we do have Lauren Edgerton there. She's great to drive against. But I don't know. It's the short races that kill me. I can only like either the beginning or the end because I'm working on the full race, getting that all put together. The short races are hard on me. I would think I might do better in the longer races, but we just don't got the money to run a late model. So
is it your plan that down the road that this is what you want to do? I mean, do you see yourself racing for a while, or is there other things you're interested in?
I'm kind of along for the ride right now. If it takes me higher, it takes me higher. If it doesn't, I'm fine with staying in a modified.
So you and Lauren are the only two running in the modifieds, two females running in the modifieds.
Yes.
Do you get any some of that male, she's in my way, I'm going to take her out, she don't need to be out here. Do you get any of that up there?
It all depends on the people. And like last season, some people were like a little hesitant on it, but as I started to get better, they've kind of, she's got something. She might got something here, and they've learned to like respect me, and I respect them. And as long as it's a mutual respect, then we usually run each other pretty clean.
So how about down the road? Are you looking at maybe some of these diversity programs and anything like that to see if you can, go racing with somebody and, have somebody else pretty much foot the bill for the racing?
I haven't really looked into it. I've been told about it. I've thought about it, but I haven't really looked into it yet. I might.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be a good thing to do. I think it would be a wonderful thing to get you involved, and that'll help you move along. So, All right, who are your sponsors and everything you got with you?
Well, I got Fair Farm Repair, Fredericksburg Auto Finance, Cam's Racing Engine, and then my dad's the owner of the modified, and he fits all the bills right now, pretty much, other than my two other sponsors and everything. I got Neil and Tony Coley that built me a great race car, and they're always there and they're always ready to help. And from coaching to, I don't even have to say what's wrong with the modified half the time. They just watch it how it's driving and they know. Then the Humblets, actually, Chris and Jimmy Humlet, they're my teammates.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're Coley built cars too. So they've helped me with driving coaching. Like over the coronavirus, we were able to go and do like some test days, and they would come out and they would coach me, and they would just let me chase them and learn their line and learn where I need to get better at. And then my favorite person, Brian Maxey, because he does everything. He's a mechanic, fabricator. He's the track chef. That is my favorite.
Hey. So now I need to come see you when I come to Dominion to see what all y'all eating over there, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds like that would be pretty interesting. Now, you're going to finish out the rest of this season. Are you going to be running anywhere else?
We might run a little bit somewhere else. We don't really know yet. We're kind of trying to focus on Dominion and get me good at Dominion, and then maybe go elsewhere and spread the horizon of my knowledge of tracks and everything. So,
all right, now is this car? You said who owns the car you're driving? Do your team? I mean, is that one of your team or?
My father does, Philip.
Well, he owns the car. Now, how much time do you spend working on the car yourself?
A lot. I work at his shop, so like when we're dead and we have something to work on the car, I'm usually the one mainly working on it, and they're helping out. I do a bunch of stuff. Majority of the time, I'm the one working on it. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. Do you know when you're out on the track or whatever? Do you know what the changes they're making to the car? Do they relay that to you, and are you able to do some feedback on that?
Sometimes yes, but sometimes it's a little. They'll change something and it's a little bit too much to think about while you're driving, so they won't tell me. But when I come back in and I'm like, I like it, I hate it, what you do, they'll tell me. and I've started to learn how to relay it back to, we need to change it back. We need to do this. We need to fix this. So.
All right, now, is that how old are you now?
I'm 19.
19. So are you in college or going whatever, or what are you doing on the?
I am in college right now. Well, not this semester because it's all online, but I am
yeah.
I'm in college right now, and we're just racing and working and having fun.
Good. Well, I mean, that's the way it should be, and I'm glad you're able to do that. Now, give your sponsors a shout out and tell who all your sponsors are and everything.
Cam's Racing Engine, Fredericksburg Auto Finance, Ferry Farm Repair, Coley Built Chassis. They're my people.
And don't forget Dad now. Dad's out there, he's paying for it. One way or the other, he's paying for it.
Of course.
Well, that's cool. Well, I hope that, pretty soon you maybe can get a chance to come down to Langley or whatever and spread your wings a little bit and do some other racing. And maybe next year we'll see you even more down this way.
Hopefully. We'll see.
That's good. Well, Caleb, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you for your time and everything tonight. Appreciate everything that you having some time with us. Tell Donna Mullins and everybody up there that we had you on the show, and we look out for Dominion drivers too.
They know.
All right, appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
And that was Taylor Searles, modified driver at Dominion Speedway. The modified drivers at Dominion Speedway. And let's go back to some of the comments over here. I saw one from Doug Sample talking about back up here. Scott's the monkey that normally pushes the button. Right now, I'm trying to push them myself. It doesn't work as good as it does with Scott here. But anyway, he said about Jason Machad and Nick Sample having a good race the other night. Yeah, Jason Machad had a great race, finished second in the Pro 6 to Jared Clark. Jared pretty much had the field covered in the Pro 6 race, but right now he's man in that division, so we'll have to go with that. Anybody else got any questions they'd like to put up to talk about while we have a few minutes here waiting for our next guest? The next guest is supposed to be Steve Zacharias from down there. Scott Allen, how are you making out without me? Well, I'm not going to say it's as much fun without you. But, I don't have anybody to pick on, but I'm surviving right now. Stayed at home and didn't come to Langley tonight because wasn't the need to make that drive all in. John Fritz says we need to talk about Willie Mullins making his first start in a modified. Yeah, I forgot. I was going to ask Kayla about that too, and I didn't think about it. He did make his first start in a modified up there at Dominion. I don't know. I think I read somewhere in some of Dinah's stuff that she puts out from up at Dominion that Willie, that was his first race at Dominion Speedway. First time he was racing at Dominion Speedway. So, but I did not get I have not got a finishing order on the race. I didn't have a chance to go back and look. And anyway, what do you mean? Scott out says, I can see how it's going. What do you mean by how you see how it's going? It's going pretty good, man. I'm going pretty decent. Yeah, welcome Scott to the show. Scott had a rough night the other night, and don't tell him that I kind of felt sorry for him because that's just not right. And we can talk about feeling sorry for him. He had a rough night the other night, so it's I'm glad to see that he maybe he'll get the car running better within the next couple of weeks. But he's had some tough times. John Fritz says that Philip Searle says that she flew by the seat of her pants. And I was in a different room while the interview was going on. She did a great job, Philip. Don't worry about it. She did a wonderful job. Glad to have her on. And love having the folks on Dominion Speedway on the show and be a part of what we're doing here. Scott Allen says my job is secure. Yeah, it's the button pushing part of the job is secure. Would like to have, somebody that I can talk to and bounce off of. It's kind of hard to do by yourself. Sitting here trying to talk and waiting on people to come on the show. But while we've got a second, we might as well talk about next week's show. Next week's show is going to be really good. We're going to have Steve Britt, the promoter from Dominion Speedway. He's going to be on the show. And we're going to have the two new GMS drivers for their developmental program, Katie Hettinger and Ashton Higgins. We're going to have them next week. That'll be a lot of fun to talk with all those folks next week. Also, while we're waiting here, I got an announcement to make. I'll go ahead and do it now. Effective September 1, Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News with Scott Allen. I wish Scott was here to do this, but they want me to go ahead and put it out tonight. GAC Enterprises is going to become a sponsor of Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News. They're going to be doing the Driver of the Week. It's going to be Driver of the Week. It's going to be Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News, GAC, and North Carolina 811. So it'll be a group effort there. And we're going to be giving out, starting on September 1st, we're going to be giving out awards. We're going to give it out. We're going to do a plaque or whatever for this, not a plaque, but a certificate and a frame and everything for the Driver of the Week. So we're looking forward to that. And hopefully we'll have a great association with GAC. Talked with Brian Morehouse, done a little research on GAC. They're great people, a true American business, even though people in it, their names don't sound that way, but it's American business. They're from Greensboro, North Carolina. They've expanded into other areas of the country, so we're really excited about that, to be a part of that. They want to get involved in racing. That's their thing. They want to get involved, and we thought this would be a good way to get involved in racing. Come on with us to be a part of that. So we're pretty excited about all that. And we'll see how all that goes when we get started on September 1st with GAC. So let's talk about Champ never coming back to Dominion. Way too fast. And I don't know what you're trying to say there. Talk about Champ never coming back. I don't know what you mean by that. But anyway, we'll see what we can do. I don't know what the sound is doing. I hear the Doug samples that we're having some problems with the sound. I don't have Scott here to troubleshoot it, so I'm gonna try to troubleshoot it a little bit, but I might end up messing it up more than fixing it. So we'll see how that works out. See if I can get a hold of our man Zacharias. Champ Carts. Hey, I heard the Champ Carts raced up at Dominion this past week. I heard that was a pretty good show there. So that's a pretty big deal to have them. The Champ Carts here at Langley Speedway with HRKC. They are a super show. I love watching them race. Even when Scott Allen was racing, it was a pretty good race, even though he did win one, and we had to hear about it for about a year. But it is what it is, I guess, for him. He did the best he could. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. The John Britt says they were scary. They are fast. They are way fast. Those Champ Carts. And I've heard Scott Allen and the legend Danny Millard and all those guys talk about this and how you have to have the craft and everything to make it. Everybody has to go together to make it work out. So that's a pretty big thing there to be a part of that. How fast they go. I mean, it is unbelievably fast. So anyway, I don't see anything from Steve Zacharias yet. Hopefully we'll get him on here in a minute. For example, it was a bad wreck on lap 2. I didn't see that. I didn't get to see the race itself. So, all right, let's see if I can get a hold of Steve. I'm trying to get him on the show. This is the way this will work. You know it was going to work like this tonight with Scott not being here. Everything in the world is going to be a little different with him not here. I'm trying to talk as I go along, but I can't read and talk at the same time. As Scott says I can't do two things at one time. But that's Scott Allen. That's how I talk about it. Steve Zacharias, come on the show here. Where he's at. Davey Callahan, track record for the Virginia races this past weekend. I love that series of Virginia races. I think that's going to be a great thing. I can't wait till we get some races down here at Langley Speedway. Well, it looks like I got somebody here. I'm not going to say who it is. I'll just let him come on the show and act like he's somebody. Anyway.
It looks like you're struggling, Jack.
I'm struggling a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for Steve Zacharias to call, and I ain't seen that yet. So, I mean, it's just one thing right after another. But, I'm having to do the keys up here, and that's kind of hard for me to do.
It's a struggle.
Especially when I got my own hired monkey to do that, right? What are you doing, man? What's going on with you?
I'm drinking this really good stuff. So, I mean, if I have to run, I'm going to have to shut this off and run.
Oh, I want to see that. I want to see you do that. Take off running like that. Now, what did we find out about the car last week? What's going on there?
We're not real sure, to be honest. We threw a lot of stuff at it. So, I don't know. We're kind of occupied this week, but next week we'll get back on it. And, there's a couple things left. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
I mean, I told everybody I felt sorry for you, but I mean, that's hard to believe. Are
you feeling okay?
Yeah, it bothered me a little bit the other night. I was up in the press box watching your race, and I was thinking, this ain't cool because that car didn't sound right when it come by me. And
no,
I said
it didn't sound right. It didn't run right.
I mean, everything you did and everything you changed on that car. I mean, geez. I mean,
I was wore out before the race started from working on it all week or all night.
I'm just grateful for one thing. You didn't let that other car pass you. You still finished third.
I couldn't let that happen.
You didn't. I mean, you were fat, making sure that didn't happen. But she was gaining a little ground on you at one point.
I was just riding, and then I'd pick it up a little bit, then I'd ride a little bit. I was keeping abreast of what was going on.
Well,
I thought it was going to be at least a little bit better, that we could at least hang, but it won't.
Well, I think we figured out what the deal is. Okay,
what's that?
We figured part of your problem is the fact that you don't have any our show stickers on your car.
Right.
and two of your competitors had their stickers on the other night, and they were flat out going.
And they finished in front of me?
Yeah. So we don't have to call their names. Everybody knows who they are.
I mean, we got a whole field of cars. You sure everybody's gonna know who it is?
Hey, it was pretty cool how they seeked me out to get the stickers to put on the car.
Somebody asked me, is like, how in the hell do we get those Jack Dodson stickers? I said, I don't know. I said something to him last week that I didn't have any, and he said, when I get to the car, I'll give them to you. And that's the last I heard about it.
I forgot.
I said, maybe he doesn't want them on my car.
No, I mean, hey, I was telling Davey Malone, maybe someday he'll find out that's part of his problem.
I should have said, well, maybe he said I got to run a little bit better before I can get them on my car.
But anyway, I mean, Eddie Clark come over and told me, or Ed Clark or whatever his name, he come over and told me, he said, "Hey, I thought you'd give us a great big sticker to put on the hood of our car, because how things are going." I said, we think you're pulling for us more than Scott anyway.
So who do you got next coming on the show?
Well, it was supposed to be Steve Zacharias. I don't know where he's at. I talked to him earlier this week, and he was talking about he didn't like the fact that I put Myrtle Beach promoter up there, but I forgot about him going to Florence starting this week, and I was hoping we'd find out exactly what they got going on over there. Yeah,
it'd be exciting to see what he does over there, because he brings a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. I mean, the family, obviously, the Zacharias family goes a long ways in motorsports. But it'll be interesting to see what he brings to Florence. I mean, Florence is a neat place. We ran down there for a year when Langley was closed in the karts, and it's a rough place. It's kind of neat. It's probably close to like a Franklin County, but it'll be interesting to see somebody put some money and put some interest in the racetrack and kind of bring it up to par. So I'm excited to see what he's got and what they're going to do out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some conversations about Franklin County this past weekend. So
I haven't heard who ended up winning the Cars Tour. I forgot.
In the late models, Jared Fryer won the late model race. He beat Mike Looney.
Oh, dang, yeah. If you beat Mike Looney, you did something.
In the super late model,
I can't see any comments on here.
In the super,
oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can. Well, it covers the whole screen up if I put the comments up, see what everybody's saying. I mean, who do you think that's who's going to be the favorite for the Cars Tour this weekend? And is there any guys that run Langley Weekly that are going to run in the Cars Tour?
I haven't heard. I heard there was the Gully kid that was out there this past weekend running in the late models. He's going to come back and run. I understand the other Justin Carroll is coming back to run that race this weekend. But I haven't heard anybody else say from Langley who all's going to be. I didn't hear Butterbean say whether he was going to race it or any of those guys. So I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine a few guys are, but I mean, and I think that's probably what they, Langley had a really good car count this weekend for late models.
19 late models.
But there's not a lot of other places to go, so that helps Langley. But then I think the Cars Tour being this weekend, I think a lot of people wanted to see how good their stuff is. I'm not sure exactly what the difference between the Cars Tour car and the regular late model. I don't think there's any difference. I'm sure there's probably some motor difference a little bit of what they can do for the whole motor package stuff.
Well, Butterbean run the race last year, and I asked him what the difference was, and I done forgot what it was, but there is some minor differences between the two. So that's a big deal. So
yeah.
But anyway, Bubba Pollard won the super late model race at Franklin County, and from what I hello. I guess Scott had an emergency. He just cut right out on me on that one right there. So anyway, yes, Bubba Pollard won the super late model race, and he said it was almost like running in a complete circle. And here's Scott Allen. He's back again. I guess it wasn't what I thought it was.
I was trying to look at the
Calm down.
I was trying to read the comments, and I hit the off button for the comments, and the whole screen went away. I said, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, you went away, and I said,
False alarm.
Okay, well, good. At least you may be able to stay here. But we was talking in the news, some of the stuff that happened in the news this week. What about the races at Dover? There was some good racing at Dover this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, though, there was some good racing, and I mean, I think the guys to beat for this championship coming up. We got one more week. I mean, is Jimmy Johnson going to get in? I mean, it's a battle. It could go either way. I mean, we're talking about Daytona, but I mean, for the championship, you got to figure it's either the 4 or the 11. And, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a little bit of a Harvick fan. So I think Harvick's going to be hard to beat. I mean, it's like every time his back is up against the wall, he delivers. But Hamlin is having his best year so far. So it'll be interesting the next several weeks to see. Next week we got the cutoff, and then we'll go into the championship round, and then the 3 races, and then the cutoff, and then the pressure starts building and seeing all that. But I think Hamlin and Harvick are pretty secure with all the bonus points and stuff that those guys got. I think they're fairly secure unless they have some really terrible luck that they won't be in the Final 4. What?
I was listening to some of the stuff. John Pritt says, "I want some of what you're drinking." I don't know if he does or not.
No, you don't.
I don't think he does.
No.
John Pritt, you and Philip Searles get with me, and I'll get you some stickers up there for your cars. That'll be cool. I would be more than glad to do that for.
When can I get some stickers? I got to get something to change my luck here.
Well, I
got to put some pressure on Jared. He's just riding around too much.
Well,
I told him I was going to start talking trash last week, but I had to make sure the car was going to run first.
Well, I sat there and I thought, well, now he might make a run at this race, and then you kept falling back further and further back. I said, well, now I don't want to see him get lapped.
No, I mean, we got off and the car was still running terrible and misfiring or whatever, bucking and so forth. And I could sort of keep up a little bit. I thought, well, maybe if I overdrive it into the corners and try to make up for what the car is not running, that I could sort of keep up a little bit. I did it for a few laps, and I was like, man, I'm just going to kill the tires on the thing. So we lost a brand new tire. When I took those couple laps to see if the car was running better, I got something in the right rear, so that was completely flat. Brand new tire gone. So we had to put a used tire on the right rear. But then, so then I just saving the tires. Saving the car. There was no need to keep pushing it. I mean, I kept hearing that, the 4 car was a straightaway back, so then I just kept riding. Then it was like half a straightaway. I was like, all right, so I picked up a little bit. Then it was like 5 laps ago, you got a straightaway lead, and I was like, all right, so I just coasted her home.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild deal. I kept telling Shane and them, but throw caution, let him catch back up. But I don't think that would have mattered.
No, it wouldn't have mattered. It sucks. It's frustrating going back every week. And I mean, you do a bunch of work and you think you got it, and you get there and it's not. And you're throwing stuff at it. It's no fun going to the racetrack like that. It sucks. But we're gonna get it figured out, and we're gonna put some pressure on Jarrett. We get his motor right. Then we can kind of start working on fine tuning the car to me. I mean, we're kind of close, but somebody's got to put some pressure on him.
I saw where Davey Millard made the comment. Somebody made the comment they need to get somebody to help get the setup straight on that car. Davey Millard says, we ain't worried about setup right now. We're trying to get it to run.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I think we're fairly close setup wise. but you can't work on the setup when the car don't run, and it's bucking before the flag stand. So that's just what we got to deal with. So we got to work through it. We'll figure it out. We got several weeks off this break here. We don't go back till the 19th, and then I think we run like 3 races in October. So hopefully we'll have it right, and then we can put some pressure on Jarrett, and we can get in victory lane. That's our goal through the end of the year. Not worried about points. Never was really worried about points. We just want to be competitive and want to have some fun, want to race door to door with Jarrett. I mean, the fans need to see some stuff like that. We need to have some fun.
And by the way, I'll let you know that Brian sent me a message the other day. So we've gone ahead and made the announcement that GAC is going to be joining us as far as our driver of the week thing. They're going to give the stuff, help us give out the stuff for driver of the week, and we will also be doing a certificate and everything for the driver of the week. So that's coming up.
Now, he told me, and he was supposed to text the rest of this to me, what GAC stands for, but I can't remember. It's like Great American Company. Great. But big shout out to those guys, and thank those guys very much, because it'd be pretty cool because driver of the week's going to get a nice plaque, or not a plaque, but a nice certificate, and there's going to be some giveaways, and then we got some other stuff kind of in the works for some giveaways for maybe some of our I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 of them biggest fans. They're going to get some stuff from GAC, I think. So it's pretty cool, and we can't thank those guys enough for getting behind us and putting some products out there for us to give away.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Are you going to hang around with me now to talk to Mario Gosselin, or are you going to get off?
I'll watch.
Okay.
You bring on. I'll stay on for a little bit. But if you see this, you might as well take me off.
All right. We got Mario Gosselin with us now. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Having a hard time hearing you there, but we're doing good.
Well, let me shut the office door here. Maybe I'll back.
You must still be at work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How's that? Is that any better?
That's better. That's better.
All right.
So
Jack, hit the button to make us all the same size.
Hit the button to make us all the same size.
Go to the left.
To the left.
Hey, well, that'll work.
There you go. We got it.
Close enough.
Well,
Yeah.
see, Scott's normally the monkey that messes with the buttons, and tonight I'm doing it. So that's the problem. So,
I
Good help's hard to find.
Mario, it's really great to talk to you, man. I've always admired your racing, and through the years, I've kept up. I knew you did the Hooters Cup stuff. My son was involved with the Hooters Cup series and working over there, so I kind of knew a little bit about you there. But tell us, a lot of people in this area probably don't know who Mario Gosselin is, but give us a little insight about Mario Gosselin and his racing career.
Well, I started early 90s down at Hialeah Speedway and raced there for a few years, and then started running what back then was the USA Series, which was late models through the state of Florida, and won a championship on the USA Series in 94, and then in 95 it became the Hooters Series, and started running that, won a championship in 95, and then it went to the Pro Cup Series, and I won the championship in 97 on a Pro Cup deal, and still doing a lot of local late model racing at that time. And then 99 is the first time I ran the ARCA race, went to Charlotte. First ARCA race, sat on the pole and won it. And I thought, wow, this is cool. We can do this. And then it took me about 15 more races to win another one.
It's not that easy, I can tell you that.
No, we just hit on it that day, and it was our day. But and then started dabbling, did some truck stuff and some Xfinity stuff, and started helping some other drivers. And I would say, let me think here, 2018, Alex had a sponsorship opportunity, and the sponsor, wanted him to come and do some Xfinity races. And the stipulation was that I had to be the crew chief on the car. So I haven't driven since. It's Alex's fault.
Oh, well, now you have got a great little race team there as far as DGM Motorsports. I mean, you got some great people working there, and your cars always look good. Everything about that your teams are really cool. How hard is it these days to do that in the Xfinity series?
Well, I mean, we're one of the smaller teams, obviously. I mean, we're competing against, Joe Gibbs and Junior Motorsports and, RCR. And so, I mean, we're definitely one of the smaller teams, and, it's a lot of hard work. And I mean, all my guys, even my suppliers, most everybody, they're racers first and foremost, and everybody works hard, from the engine builders to the people that do our drivetrain. Buzzy does our transmissions and gears, and everybody here in the shop that works on these cars day in, day out, they're all racers. I mean, Josh Williams, racer, he works in his shop, does a lot of legend cars for different people, and sometimes we end up, if we get behind, we'll send a car up there and let him and Johnny work on them, Johnny and Mike, and work on them and get them ready. And they're always, moving cars from chassis shop to getting them inspected. Today, took a car to R&D center to get it inspected. So those guys do a lot. As far as in Charlotte, my shop's in Florida, and we do most of the assembly and setup here in Florida. And we got 3 cars that we're getting ready for this weekend in Daytona. We got Cesar Beccarello being the 90, and Alex Labello being the 36, and Josh Williams will be in the 92. So it's definitely stay very busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that you can put 3 cars on the track like that and run like that. That's and you got, and like you mentioned, Josh Williams. Josh Williams is a cool guy. I really like him. I got to talk to him one-on-one a few times up at Richmond and everywhere. I really like him, but he's got to be cool to have him, where he works on the cars and drives them.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to be around. He's just a good all-around person and super good driver. And I mean, he's just his attitude, his demeanor, he likes to joke around. I mean, it takes his racing very serious, but at the same time, fun to be around, likes to joke around and laugh, and have a good time. Now,
with this stuff with the COVID and everything that's going on right now, how bad is that? I mean, a lot of teams are talking, how things are going, and for a small team like yours, how bad has that affected you? As far as having to get things done and sponsorship and everything.
Well, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, we're thankful to be racing right now.
Yeah.
So you put everything in perspective. Well, okay, we're just, everybody's doing the best they can and working hard, and it's definitely a lot tougher because, especially for a small team, I think, because our resources are limited compared to the big teams. And when you get to the track, there's no trying this or trying that or feeling the car out and making changes. I mean, when that thing comes off the gate, it's going on the track, it's going through tech on the track, and we're dropping the green. And guess what? I mean, if you're off, you're off. I mean, it's, you can only do your normal adjustments that you would do on pit road. So it just makes what happens at the shop so much more important, and having notes and, going back and looking at notes and trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to need this weekend? What's going to be the, I mean, we don't have simulators, sim programs like the factory teams do, where they can try different setups and run a bunch of different things through the sim program and try to help them with the setup for the weekend. We're just solely, based on experience and notes, and sometimes, we go to a track and we're running a different tire, and it just really, it's just hard to figure out, you don't know ahead of time what this particular tire is going to like or not like, or, how different the setup should be. So definitely a lot more challenging for the small teams. But, I mean, I know, all the small teams, I mean, we're not the only ones working late hours and, loading up and, going to the track. I mean, it's just all the small teams. We're all in the same boat. We're all working super hard. I'm just thankful for my guys. We all got our heads down and we're digging hard. I know the fans at home don't see everything that goes on behind the scenes, but I'm telling you, it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, it from a financial standpoint, and you don't have to answer the question if you don't want to, but from a financial standpoint, not having the practices and not having everything, has that benefited you? Because I've talked to a couple cup teams, and they said, the smaller cup teams, and they say it benefits them not to have to do all this as far as financial. How about with you, with 3 cars and not having to practice?
It's definitely helped. To some extent, because a lot of the races are one-day shows, so you're eliminating some hotel rooms and some payroll that you would have. That's a little bit less, but they give us an extra set of tires because we usually have a competition caution. They give us an extra set of tires, which for us that would be the set of tires we would use in practice. So that hasn't changed how many sets of tires we use that much. What's really hurting us is most of the places, or all the places that we go, cup or trucks, nobody has practice. So where we would be able to get some tires from some other teams that maybe, are left over, they didn't use, or maybe something that has a lap or 2 on them, that's all gone away. Almost everywhere we've been all brand new tires. And that's really hurting my pocketbook. My cost has gone up on that side of it. And then it's gone down, because of the one-day shows and no practice. Obviously, there's a little bit less wear on the engines and stuff. We can stretch them a little longer, but I haven't seen a big savings. I think the bigger teams see the bigger savings, because all those guys are used to preparing a second car for a backup and all that kind of stuff. Most of the time we go to track, the car we got in the box is the car we got. We don't have a backup. We don't. It's all we can do to get these primary cars ready and right, and I'd rather spend the time getting a primary car being right than worrying about a backup. Sometimes we do have a backup. It usually is the car that we ran the week before or the car that we're going to run the week after, but most of the time we go to track and there's no backup. So cost wise, I haven't seen a big savings there. We have been super fortunate that everybody has done a super job getting sponsorship on these cars, and that's helped out a lot. We've had, Josh, Alex, everybody has grown their circle and has been able to pull sponsorship from, a lot of different companies are jumping in and helping out, and it's really awesome, and that's really made the difference. What's kept us going.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions it's in my mind about racing in the future, the one-day shows, everything that's going on right now, that's going to be the new norm. It may be what we're going to see from now on. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly, you're probably right. I know NASCAR and a lot of the teams, they've talked together and they try to figure out a way to cut cost. And again, like the top 15 Xfinity series, they can bring, before this COVID thing, they were allowed to bring a backup car, but they couldn't have an engine in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a way for them to cut costs. Well, now, when you're just showing up and racing, you don't have to have a backup car or a spare engine. There's no use for it, so I know that's got to be helping costs. And obviously, the one-day shows and the guys that are fortunate enough to fly on the race day flights, a lot of times they fly the morning they race and they fly back home after the race and they're only gone one day,
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we'll ever see practice and qualifying again. That's a really good question. I've wondered that myself.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going to be the new norm for everything. Well, Mario, we appreciate you spending some time with us, and I know you're a busy man, got a lot of things going on out there, but good luck to you this weekend at Daytona. Tell Josh I said hi, and we'll get back together with you again sometime real soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for being with us. Appreciate it, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get Steve Zacharias on here. Hey, man. Sorry we had to hold you up a little bit, but
no, that's my fault.
Everything's going kind of haywire tonight.
What's that?
I said, I'm sorry we had to hold you up a little bit, but everything's going a little haywire tonight. So
no, it's all good. No,
I don't have the monkey here pushing the buttons.
We're actually on the road home from Florence right now, trying to get ready for the big race next week. So
that's cool. Now, I know it was really tough on you to have to get rid, to leave Myrtle Beach and everything. But do you have huge plans for making Florence a better racetrack?
I mean, I think I've had huge plans since we figured out that we were going to do it. We've been into them a little bit later than I wanted. We're about a month and a half behind. We were supposed to be closed at Myrtle Beach at the end of June. So here we are late August, and our first race is September 4th. So, we're in process of replacing all the grandstands. We had a good friend of ours in town, Danny Johnson, donated all the grandstands from Darlington. So we're going to have aluminum grandstands with the backs. I think you're going to see a lot of improvements. I mean, whether it's paint and cleaning systems, process, you'll see it quickly. But I think in the future, you'll see every time you show up, I hope there's something new. But, Charlie Powell left a good baseline. It just needed a little TLC. And, and he told me, before he passed, that he's 83 years old. He loves racing. He just wants to be a part of it. But he's just tired, and so he got to a point where he just couldn't keep up with it. And it was understood, it's hard. I mean, promoting a racetrack anymore isn't like it used to be. You can't just open the doors and people show up and say, hey, I got a racetrack, let's go. So there's a lot more to it. And he loved the sport, man. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is that to take on a facility that with a man that had the same passion that I have. Looking back on his life, I mean, he did a lot of the things. He grew up in racing. He had his kids racing. He just loved the sport, and he built a facility for that. And hopefully we can do him justice and honor him in making sure the facility continues that way.
Yeah, I've never been to Florence. I've been by it. I have never been to Florence for a race or anything like that. But I mean, I know that you're going to. It's going to take a while to gradually get everything going like you want it to. And I mean, what are some of the things that you yourself, as far as maybe getting some touring series, stuff like that, and try to be like you were at Myrtle Beach? I mean, you had some great racing over at Myrtle Beach.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to take time. Number one, I mean, we're not going to be an overnight success. Our first steps were to get some races under our belts this year, to kind of feel out what we are. We really don't know who we are at this point. We learned Myrtle Beach after about 4 years of what kind of divisions, what the rules needed to be, what was a successful kind of playbook, and now we're starting from scratch. So we're going to start with what we had that was successful from Myrtle Beach, set that up at Florence, and kind of learn from there. So we wanted to get some races in this year, September 4th, October 17th. We're going to have a version of the Myrtle Beach 400, hopefully with the same purse. I mean, we're going to rename it, and the announcement will come out soon. It'll be the Charlie Powell Memorial. We want to honor him. And I think having the same structure the Myrtle Beach 400 had, where we have a 2-weekend event, where we have challengers 1 weekend, the Southeast Limited Series, and then we have late models and super trucks right now scheduled for the second weekend for that week before November, or before Thanksgiving. So, again, this year kind of looks very similar to what Myrtle Beach Speedway looks like at the end of the season, but what Florence looks like in 2021, I really can't tell you right now. We've lined up the monster trucks. That's always a good show. We're working on some of the car shows that we've always had. There's other things that we're going to do at Florence that haven't been done, but at the same time, we're going to stick to what we know, and that's racing. Start there. Be true to the racer, the fans. I think we're going to get a better showing of fan base there. Myrtle Beach has had too much going on, whether it was the Skywheel, the Ocean, Medieval Times, Pirates Voyage. Florence right now in Timminsville area, our first race is the weekend of Darlington, which I think is going to be beneficial to us. With it being Friday, especially with no practice and qualifying, we're the only game in town right now. So we're excited about just being there. Obviously we're anxious to see, because we knew Myrtle Beach Speedway as a whole, no matter what. If you want to turn right, I tell you where to turn right. If you want to know where the cutoff switch to the lights are, I'll tell you where it is. If you want to know where the water cutoff is, I most likely put it in. Well, we moved to Florence Motor Speedway, and I don't know where anything is. We're going to take the same concepts and the same strategies to make sure that the flow, getting in, there's no lines. Everybody enjoys themselves. Everybody's part of the family. The systems are good. The tire changing's good. Like all the things that we took from Myrtle Beach or we created at Myrtle Beach, we're going to take them to Florence. It's just, how does that really shape up? How does it look at Florence? And, I told someone the other day, I said, I think you'll see Florence Motor Speedway be ever changing. So race 1, we're going to do it this way. That doesn't mean we're going to do it race 2. because we're going to learn every day that we go there and every race that's over, you know. And that's how we started Myrtle Beach. A lot of phone calls to good friends just saying, hey, what did you like? What did you dislike? What can I do? What can we make better? And it takes that effort anymore. You know, when I grew up, my dad and my mom used to go to the racetrack, put a blanket out at 7:30 in the morning because we'd lose our seat if we didn't. That doesn't exist anymore. So you got to do a little bit more than they did in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's it. You're exactly right. How hard, I mean, when all this came up with Myrtle Beach, I mean, you know, I know that had to be hard for you, but what about your people that you had working with you and everything? How hard is it for them? Are you taking most of them with you to Florence? Or?
Yeah, no, I mean, our main staff will be joining us at Florence. That's why I said core and a group that's going to be there. Brian Voss is coming. Savannah Brotherton, that's been with us for a long time, she's coming. She's a part of this deal. Our safety team's going to be there. Our front gate guy, Billy Vargo, he's coming with us. So I think you're really going to see, besides it being an hour and a half from Myrtle Beach, you're going to see Myrtle Beach and Timmonsville. You know, we want to all the people that we've created and we've built a base in, our employees, our customers, our fans. We're all part of one big group, and we love it, right? We love the sport, just like you do, just like everyone in it. And they just want to be a part of it, and they want to have fun, and they want to be at a racetrack. You just enjoy yourself, and when you leave, you have smiles. You might be, and I did it with the people I love.
Yeah, that's you know, I enjoyed Myrtle Beach a lot. I really did enjoy Myrtle Beach when I would go down for races there. So I'm hoping that you can get Florence running up and like it was in Myrtle Beach, and it'll be just as exciting.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, from everybody I talked to, Charlie had it that way at one point, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to do everything in my powers to get it back there. And you know, we've got a lot of support from the racers in town and you know, a lot of the racers out of town. I think race 1, September 4th, is going to be a success. And, you know, I keep categorizing it like a restaurant. You know, you go there the first time. If you enjoyed yourself, you go back. If you don't, then you might not come back. So we're going to work our tails off. I mean, like I said, we've done a lot of visual. Tander Garrett and Paragon's coming in this week to help us grade the entrance, because I was told by some people that big rigs can't get in because of the way that the entrance is, which was a surprise to me, because Myrtle Beach, with that tiny gate that we have, I thought that would be worse off than what Florence is. But we're going to fix the things that I've been told are a problem. We're moving the trees in the backstretch 20 feet back, so if you ever go sailing off the backstretch, it doesn't you know, pertain to you. Because I grew up racing at a place where I backed up into a cornfield, so I remember sliding backwards in a street stock and corn stalks going flying over the top of me. So I'm okay with no backstretch wall, because I'd rather not hit something and get sent back into the rest of the field, but I also don't want to run into something. So we're pushing the trees back so that if you ever slide off the backstretch, you can drive back up and join the field. You know, we're just doing the things that anyone that I've asked that said, hey, what was the reason you didn't go there? And I'm trying to address those first. You know, so, right. You know, concessions was one of them, and bathrooms. Concessions, we're handling it with food trucks. I'm not going to do any concessions. I'm going to do food trucks. We've already installed Elvis Storage has provided us with this beautiful container, which I'm amazed at what they do with containers nowadays. It's incredible. Yeah. But they've got this with hardwood floors, you know, granite countertops, air conditioned. I mean, it's amazing. So we've already addressed that. So that's done. So I'm just trying to do a checklist of saying, all right, what didn't you like the first time? I'll address them first. And now when you leave, what didn't you like the second time? And I'll address them when you come back for the third, hopefully. So.
Yeah, you have a plan, and I think that's going to be the thing that's going to make the difference is having that plan. How much did the COVID situation play into the Myrtle Beach thing there with you?
I mean, it didn't really play in. It was well before COVID that Myrtle Beach was going to be no longer. I mean, it just was, you know, the residents and the growth of Myrtle Beach right now is just so incredible that he had no choice. I mean, he was presented with an opportunity that he couldn't pass up, and so he had to sell at that point. You know, it's hard to see it go, but at the same time, it just was part of it. And you know, I tell people all the time, don't look at Myrtle Beach Speedway going away as a sign that short track racing's going away. It had nothing to do with short track racing. I mean, we were averaging 18 cars in every division. So short track racing is still alive and strong. It's a matter of what track are they going to, and if we can get everybody on board to cooperate and we're not racing against each other and trying to share. Because the way I've explained it to people is that there's only a handful of cars and there's only a handful of tracks anymore, and we're trying to share each. So, if we have 100 cars and 40 tracks and all 40 tracks run at the same time, well, it don't make no sense, because now you're just splitting those cars up. So, I mean, short track racing isn't quite what it was when I grew up in the 80s and 90s watching my dad race, when we had B mains and C mains in every single division. You had to make it through a heat. But at the same time, it's not dead. So don't quit on it. Don't give up on it. Myrtle Beach Speedway just was an unfortunate situation. It was located in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I'm excited to see it continue at Florence.
All right. Well, Steve, we appreciate you being with us tonight and giving us a little time to update us on what's going on. Hopefully we'll get down to Florence before long and see how things are going, and definitely want to come next year when you get things going again next year.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right. Steve Zacharias from Florence Speedway. I didn't mention the fact that Scott was called the Florence Flash while he was racing down in Florence. But anyway. All right, that's our show for tonight. We appreciate everybody being with us. I know it was a little glitchy at points tonight, but we got it, everybody in. I want to thank Kayla Searles, Mario Gosselin, Steve Zacharias for being with us, Scott Allen for coming on. I guess every now and then you have to have somebody come on with you. But I noticed that Scott had to get off real quick, so I know he was busy. But anyway, next week, Steve Britt from Dominion Speedway and Katie Hedinger and Ashton Higgins. They're going to be with us next week. They are the new GMS drivers who are there for the developmental program with GMS. GMS has a great field of young drivers down there to build upon for their future. So we can't wait to talk with them next week. Want to thank GAC for coming on board with our show. It was a big deal. Here's their logo. Go out and check them out. They do a lot of work with lines and stuff along with the NC811. So we're really excited about that. And there'll be I'm going to put a release out here in a few minutes about the GAC being on board with us. So that's really cool for us, and really cool for to be associated with a company like GAC and NC811. That's a really big deal for us. All right. We'll see you next week back at Langley Speedway. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.